Good morning, everyone. Our first guest today is Ilya Vasilyev. He founded a hacking school in Moscow about 10 years ago. And that means he has about 10 years of experience to share with you in his talk, The School of Hacking Art. Please give him a warm applause.
Thank you. This is our first presentation in Europe. I was working on this project for 10 years that were sometimes very good, sometimes it was very bad, but I really enjoy what I was doing during these years, despite it was sometimes very hard. I have this PDF file uploaded to the camp website. Anyone already have seen this PDF? Can you raise your hands who have seen it? Okay, because nearly everybody haven't seen this file, it will be the basic of this presentation. Of course, there was a great time the humankind enjoyed on this planet before I opened this school in Moscow. This time was coming from mainly through England. Professor Boole, who designed the Boolean logic that is the basic of modern computing, and Charles Babbage, who devoted his life to creating first computers and even build one of the computer he designed. Then it came from England to United States of America, where mass production of personal computers was started, and computers came to everyone on this planet. In 80s, maybe earlier, but I think it is mainly in 80s, there was problems between people who are fond of study computers, study computer networks, and their society. So this first part of my presentation is about time before the school. The main question of this presentation is what is the hacker, what it means. Is it possible to become a hacker? Because until I opened the school, many people in Russia thought that it is impossible to learn hacking art. There is still unsolved questions if someone must be born as a hacker or can be educated as a hacker. And also another side of this question is what environment is the best for a hacker. So how we can make an environment around ourselves that is best for learning computers, for studying computers, for applying our computer knowledges. First answers. The steps that lead for me to creation this school, of course, the first step is that Donald Knuth started that programming is more like an art than a science. What means the art? The art means that a hacker can have his own programming style, his own style how to design programs. So they can become like different schools of art. Different nations have different approach of what the art is. In different ages, people have different art. For example, postmodern art, constructivism, decadence. So when Donald Knuth published his first book, The Art of Computer Programming, he bring a new dimension to computer programming. Also, he stated in his lecture in ACM, Association of Computer Machinery, that programming is an art can help in fundraising to create programs, because many artists work for less money. Many artists are prosecuted, but they continue to sing songs, to write poems, to draw pictures, even if they are not giving money, but losing money on this. Also, there can be exhibitions of art, so people can, and one piece of art can cost very great amount of money. So it is totally different approach to creating programs. Then the next great step was when Richard Stallman gives the definition of what is free. Because before Richard Stallman, we had, and in early years after 84, we had, for example, programs that are free for non-commercial use. Is there members of FidoNet network, maybe ex-members of FidoNet network in this hall? No, okay. So in FidoNet it was free for non-commercial use. Computer Underground formed the scenes of this art. Art can be applied. It is like a freaking exploring computer and telephone networks, cellular phone networks. We're creating of computer viruses and writing programs who can catch computer viruses. Carding, exploring cards of transport system or bank transfer system. Demo making, this is the most peaceful scene of Computer Underground, just to make good-looking programs. So this was the first answers to the main question of our lecture. Arose first problems, conflicts with society, because many hackers were prosecuted, especially in the United States, just for their desire to know how network works, how computer works. There was a case that we made in Moscow with a great help of 2600, a case of Kevin Mitnick. When he wanted to know how to work mobile phones, it was Motorola mobile phones. He downloaded software, source code of this phone, and was put into prison. This comes from misunderstanding, because society can't understand hackers, how hackers live, how people study computers, why we're all doing this. And it came two barriers. First, informational barrier, because when someone studies computers, his mind has more and more information. And this information make a barrier between a person who don't know this and you know this. So many things you cannot explain just because people have no information how it works. And cultural barrier, because computers that made in America often press some official American point of view that is quite different in other countries. So these barriers and crimes for both sides. So some hackers begin to use our art to for crimes, and as I said, in case of Kevin Mitnick, officials, authorities, government begin to prosecute hackers just because no one can defend this. Even if you do something legal, but experts say that you do something illegal, judges often don't understand. Okay, there were first attempts of building educational system in hackers community. It was before the school. The first is traditional a traditional way of learning by helping each other to study. Education was first in Usenet, mainly in United States, maybe in Europe. FIDENET, it was a network very popular in Russia. So there were just conferences or forums, and every person who wanted to study some computer language, some technology, come to this forum and find friends, and it was like education from peer-to-peer education. Then there were the first tutors that concerns what hacking art is and teach people to crack computer programs, to learn computer networks. The first such tutor was Ancient Art of Cracking by Bukharo Banzai. Maybe I spelled it not exactly because I was preparing this PDF file in one night in Finland. It was not big time. So I put this like by memory. If someone interesting, I have these files by Bukharo Banzai. I don't know even from what country he is. Maybe from Italy. Don't know. But I have found this first tutor that was teaching hacking art from maybe one of the first such tutor. Also, strong hacker groups arised around universities, where it is natural, where people come with mind to study. We all know a good hackers community in MIT. I admire this hackers community that gives the world Richard Stallman, Eric Raymond, and GPL license. It was from MIT. In Berkeley, BSD distribution, software distributions, they came also from such communities. So these were first attempts, not so fundamental like the approach that I am doing in Russia, but very good attempts. Okay, so now about the opening of the school. A historical situation in what the school was founded. First foreign computers penetrated my country that I was born. I think that in Europe you also experienced the same. You tried to make your own computers, like in England it was ZX Spectrum. Someone has ZX Spectrum, had in these times, yes. Very good computer. We made it in Russia by our own hands. But this always failed. So I think there are no original European computers. So everything, IBM compatible computers, Apple Macintosh computers, they all designed and came from United States. So it was in Russia. We have also old Soviet school of computer builders. So people designed their own big computers. I have met these computer builders. They are now completely out of work. In the modern world, they can't build their own computers because it takes money, and everywhere is the same American computers. So this audience wanted to reach people, but they can't. Also, the difference in Russia that our main focus is on children, not on students, because as I said, there were great hackers groups around universities in the United States. Our educational groups are at teenagers. For example, I have my personal educational groups that gather at my house and study computers, and also I have a group in government educational system where people study hacking art in government openly studies. So we have lessons about general public license